Hello. I would like to give you just a few tips that I have landed on this week that are helping me, and I hope they help you. This is all about moving forward, right? One of the things that I've learned about change is that we often look back at what we're losing, and my goal is to help us look forward at some of the opportunities we might have. I'd like to credit the Value Builder System. That's the organization I've been certified in recently. They inspired me to pay it forward by giving generously, and so now I'm giving generously as well. And they gave full credit to Stephen Covey for the original idea, and I will too. The first thing we want to talk about briefly is managing your time. And if you're like me, you have figured out that we can't really manage time. We can't make more of it or less of it, but we can manage kind of our priorities, prioritizing our tasks and our responsibilities. This is the traditional matrix. Stephen Covey produced or publicized it long ago. There are 4 quadrants going across from the left to the right. You look at what you consider each of your tasks and you decide whether they're urgent or not. And then going down the left side, you determine whether they're important or not. And then you place the tasks in the different boxes, and then he points out what you should do with them. These are some examples of things that you might be looking at this time in our history. There happens to be a pandemic going on as I record. And so the first thing you might do is this critical task of your cash flow. And what you might eliminate doing is watching the news. I've been eliminating that because it is just taking the energy right out of me. While we can't manage time, we can prioritize those tasks, we can manage our energy. Just like a sailboat manages the wind, the energy that it gets from the wind, how much, how little, whether they put the sail up or not, we have that opportunity as well. We can't create more energy than we have available, but we can try to use the energy we do have. Here is how I've adapted that matrix for energy. Going across the top, left to right, there's high impact, things that I can do that produce a lot of impact, or low. And then on the left side, things that give me energy or add to my energy and things that don't. If you haven't heard of the Gallup Strengths Finder, it's a tool that allows you to assess what your talent things are, and the more you do those, the more energy you get. And this particular activity that I'm doing right now gives me energy. It's my positivity. It allows me to interact with other people, and that gives me energy. I've run through this example briefly to show you how I'm using the matrix. So again, anything that I can do with people is high impact. I can brainstorm with you. I can help you design new products. That just really gives me energy. Over to the right, things that I can rotate through. So there are things that don't have as much impact, but they do give me energy. So I might choose to do those a couple of times today if I find that I'm getting a lull. In the lower left corner, anything that's repetitive drives me nuts. And while I can't delegate to people inside, I can outsource and equip people to succeed at those tasks. And then anything in the lower right corner that is basically they're administrative, they're repetitive, I'm just going to postpone them. They're not critical yet. And then the other thing I'd like to give credit to a woman, one of my mastermind groups, Annalise Seaborn. She taught me the concept of managing my focus or managing my attention. And we're working together on some tools for that. The first tool I'd like to briefly show you is something called Trello. Trello is an electronic cloud-based tool that I've started to use. And I'm trying to mimic how the day planners of old used to work, where you plan your year and your quarter and down to your week and then down to each day. And what I'm showing you here is how I can put tasks in my week over on the left column, and then I can drag, these are called cards, I can drag them and say, oh, I'm going to work on that Monday, I'm going to work on that Tuesday, etc. So that's a tool that I'm using to focus my energy. And then the other thing is a mastermind, and I am inviting you to join a mastermind, and let's get some business owners together and talk about how we can go forward. I will certainly be careful and not put direct competitors in the same mastermind group, but let's take advantage of some of these benefits that we can get by meeting with other business owners. The accountability is huge. Just somebody that will check in on you and say, hey, you said you were going to do this, you said that was important, and yet you haven't done it. Challenging and supporting, giving us feedback, getting perspectives from other people. I mentioned how much I love to brainstorm and design, but frankly, if you can get into a room, albeit a virtual room, with 5 or 6 other business owners, you have that much more brain power. So I hope you'll consider all of these and apply them, and reach out to me if there's any way that I can help. I really, again, derive my energy and positivity by working with others. And until then, I'll probably send some more things in the future. Talk to you later. Stephen.